friend's letter. In darkness I travel, my eyes upon a house disheveled. Walking the halls, all the pain I see, paranoia and anxiety. Usher was telling me, paranoia rising, the house is hearing, influencing spirits haunting, the house of Usher is falling. I can't how it can be, the house that leaves its possessing, books and songs to help calm, the words brought sounds from beyond, mental illness growing thin, something's under his skin, what is he hearing? Paranoia rising, the house is listening, influencing spirits haunting, the house of Usher is falling. Plans not fair, we left her there, a tomb cold, but for her it could not hold. Paranoia rising, the house is listening, influencing spirits haunting, the house of Usher is falling. Usher's ghost, the house's host, like the wind she flew in from the cradle, no one could save, soon the grave, the house of Usher would but cave, her body on mine, we both lost to insanity's time. Paranoia rising, the house is listening, influencing spirits haunting, the house of Usher is falling. There's no place for old men, a breed going extinct, as the youth coddles each other, and love appears to be in the air. Breeze singing and trees living, a time of generations dying. The sea is full, yet so many are falling, many born to die in neglect, with their unaging intellect. Two ages to be forgotten, the world is promised to the young. I will travel to eternity where age cannot go. I shall transcend this life so bold. How age makes a man invisible. He wanders alone, tattered as his clothes. Forgotten soul finds song in his heart. Monuments of magnificent, the seas have taken me to Byzantium. To age is to be forgotten. The world is promised to the young. I will travel to eternity where age cannot go. I shall transcend this life so bold. Sages standing in holy fire, spiraling as the masters of my soul sing. Desire overwhelming, don't deny but consume my heart. I know not what it is, but take me to eternity and unknown things. To age is to be forgotten. The world is promised to the young. I will travel to eternity where age cannot go, and I shall transcend this life so bold. Once free from this body, I'll never come back again. Not to this place I'll be where goldsmiths work. To entertain the lords and ladies of Byzantium. It matters not what is the past, or what is passing, or is to come. To age is to be forgotten. The world is promised to the young. I will travel to eternity where age cannot go, and I shall transcend this life so bold.
All right, folks. Welcome to Paranormal Roundtable. I'm your host, Josh Turner. This is PRT. Join us in the real reality. And now this is the shirt I was going to wear. See that for Wednesday, because it says Wednesday on there. And it's for those that go eat at Waffle House. And if you're going to go eat it on a Wednesday, you know, they have the open fights. You know about that, right? It's nothing official.
Yeah, it's fight night.
It's fight night. It's not an official thing. You just go and you just fight. That's it. So, you know. 1 second. Be right back. All right, folks. So, what do we got going on here tonight? We have something really. This is, a lot of times we'll tell multiple stories or whatever. These stories all revolve around one person and her family, basically. Interesting. I guess there are a couple things that happened with her dad, but it happened in India. Now, it's funny that people call it the subcontinent because when she said he was on the continent, I thought she was talking about Africa. And now that goes back to the Mandela effect because the subcontinent of India, it's so small now. When you look at it on a map, it doesn't look like a subcontinent. It's tiny. It looks tiny. When I was a kid, I know you're going to think this is weird, but when I was a kid, India was like a big place. It was very big. And it looked like there was Brazil and South America, and you're like, oh, it's so big, it's a huge continent. Then there's Africa. And then there was India. It was like a third. It was like maybe half the size. I remember it being like half the size of like South America. Now it's just like this little bitty. No wonder they're leaving because it's so tiny.
It's shrinking.
They shrunk them out of existence, folks. Sorry about my arm. It's all bruised up and banged up.
In Africa, looks like someone took an air pump to it and just inflated it.
So Anthony, T-Mac says Anthony is a vampire. What does that mean? You're a vampire?
That's like his weird little shtick. Like he says that at the beginning of every single episode. Well, like usually he'll say like Tony is a vampire. Like every time without fail, the exact same message. He just copies and pastes it.
So what do we really know about T-Mac?
But I don't know but now this is the first time he's saying Anthony's a vampire. Yeah. So I don't know.
What do we know about him though?
I don't know.
Hanging out with the ops?
We know that he was probably born in 1987.
That's about it.
Or his girlfriend was, or something.
I always say it, laugh out loud.
Or someone he cares about was born in 1987.
Well, maybe someone he unalived.
Or maybe he unalived someone in 1987.
Yeah, exactly. He took their identity.
Maybe he's a psycho.
What if T-Mac is his side name because
maybe he's a vampire.
He says in 1986. Well, why do you say 1987 on there? You're confusing everybody, T-Mac. Stop it.
Maybe you unalive so many people you can't keep track of what year.
That's what vampires are. That sounds like something a vampire would do. So, folks, here's another ongoing joke. You guys know that there are people who are after me, right? They're out to get me. They're very, very angry, very upset. And so I was told by a young person the other day, and Anthony, that I'm supposed to be excited that I have all these haters, that it makes you, big. Like you're supposed to be like, hey, man, I got haters. Because, apparently younger generation people would get on the interwebs and be like, I got all these people hating on me. There's all these haters, and people are like, nobody knows who you are. So the younger people are telling me that. So a friend of ours, I say friend, he's somebody we know from the gym. He's like, dude, you should be glad that these haters are after you because then it gives you clout. It gives you validity that you have haters that are after you. And I said, well, I'd like them not to. And he's like, no, man, it's a good thing. I'm like, it's a good thing? So y'all's generation is weird, dude. Y'all like welcome the hate.
Yeah, well, it's because it's a lazy way of claiming that you're successful. All you have to do to be a success, according to like millennial Gen Z brain, is just do or say something outrageous and stupid and make people mad, and therefore
it's the Jake Paul thing.
That's it. Like that's all you have to do, and you're a success. Where do you think all these stupid these prank channels came from? That's my generation. That's Gen Z.
Yeah, like Eric.
Yeah,
but Eric's doing other things now.
But what he does takes balls though. He doesn't just go and mess with he'll go up these 6'8" monsters and mess with them. But like all these fake prank channels, the same thing.
So here we got a comment here. Andres Carrizales. We're just letting the chat fill up so everybody can get in and whatever. He says, Anthony being the vampire, being Wolf's boss makes sense since Wolf is a werewolf. No, guys, haven't you heard the latest on PRT News? So everybody knows Marty Gonzalez, my business partner, right? Well, apparently they figured out that he is the sole owner of Amerishield Security, right? Because you can't have more than one company. It's got to be one.
Mm-hmm.
And what they don't understand is I have two business partners from two different companies, and I also have my own. So what does that mean? Oh my gosh, you got me. So apparently Marty fired me. Amazingly, we ate dinner with him at 5:30 today until about 7. And I didn't see the news.
Yeah.
So while we were eating dinner at Nikki's today, And the guy that used to own Nicky's a great guy. He was a Sicilian dude, and now it's these two Albanian guys that run it, and they're pretty nice guys. They're brothers. They look like twins.
They're gonna start calling up that place next.
But yeah, go call Nicky's.
Asking if Wolf eats there.
Yeah.
And then making up stories about how he eats up all the pizza.
Well, let me finish. Hold on. So we're eating dinner with him, but I jokingly told Marty, I said, hey, you realize that we're not partners. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, the interweb says that we're not partners. We can't work together anymore. And so their top story is extra, read all about it. Josh Turner fired from AmeriShield by his business partner. Well, he's not his business partner, he's his boss. And apparently I'm fired. And so everybody who's working for me, go home. Go home, everybody. 26 of you, go home. Get out of here. Go home. Get out of here. You're off.
Go get.
If you're doing a patrol, leave your keys at the substation. Get out of there. Call the dispatch. Tell them Marty Gonzalez said that Josh Turner's fired.
Get out of here. You're bothering me.
So I forgot to tell Marty about the fired thing. I said, you need to tell them that I'm fired.
Mm-hmm.
But it sticks in their craw because they think that they're once again, folks, the Roadrunner and the Coyote. You're always one step ahead. Sorry, Ike. Sorry, guys, but I'm not fired. But I appreciate you hating me so bad. You know, Rosie O'Donnell is blaming Donald Trump because she's fat. I'm sorry, Rosie. She said him getting the election in the first term. I know this got to burn Ike's ass because he's a big Democrat. So he says, Rosie O'Donnell's probably one of your heroes, right? I don't want to offend you too bad. I mean, I want to leave some skin on you, brother. But she said that Donald Trump is the reason she's overeating and drinking tons of alcohol. And then there's this picture of her. She's like, I mean, I can't even do it justice. And so I'm like, no, if I was as hideous as that woman, I'd probably look in the mirror and eat a lot of freaking, food and drink a lot of booze too, because I don't want to look like her. I'd be like horrible. Like, this is awful. This is what, and then she said she's middle-aged. Lady, middle-aged is like 35, 40. You're like, what are you? Like 80? And if you're not 80, you look like you're 80. So you really need to stop. There was a picture I saw, like she was eating those Easter eggs. Like, I'm sure she beat up some kids for those.
Probably. Those nasty Cadbury eggs.
Yeah, she's just like, no, the little, it looked like those ones with the white chalk in them. You're like, I don't know, I think I just ate some school chalk. But anyways, that's what's going on, folks. Yeah, I've been fired again, even though I just ate dinner with the guy. What they don't understand is familial bonds. This guy's like a dad to me. So I'm not being fired, okay? And it's his company, and I've been running it for him for 18 years. I'm his business partner. I have put a ton of money into this company, a ton of it, and I'll put more because that's what happens. So, but to please you guys, just to make sure that you're happy, we're going to go ahead and put Anthony's name on there so that you guys can say, hey, so he'll have that company, we'll have ours, and then we'll also work with our friend at Travis Global. Go look that guy up too. His name is Perry. He's one of our business partners too. So full disclosure, anybody can look this up. It's public information. It's not like I'm hiding anything. All right. And so, yeah, that's the way it is. So if you do work, with our company or one of our companies, I'll probably be your boss. And it's going to suck if you think that you're going to circumvent me or do whatever. Like the roofer, you did that, didn't you? You tried to go to Marty and be like, hey, give me my job back. I don't think you really wanted your job back. I think you wanted to see if he was in charge or if I was in charge. We're both in charge. He's my business partner. I've said that before. We're 50-50. Okay. So good luck with that. Good luck with that. But did you get your job back? No, you didn't. And what did he tell you? He said he referred you back to me, which I told you can't work for me. Didn't I tell you that? Didn't I say that? But you had to make it public. You had to go run around and say all that stuff in public, didn't you? So you made it a big public fiasco by doing what you did. All right. So all of you have made Anthony's everything into a public affair too. His relationship with Maddie, everything. She doesn't live with us. It's none of your business, but you guys just keep on and keep on. Folks, they have put all of our everything. They've doxed me and my business. It's all, so what? So what? Is it stopping us? Is it slowing us down? No, it's not, dude. Yeah. So here's a couple things got going on here. Tonight, after I'm done here, I'm going to be on with Clyde Lewis on Ground Zero. And so all the messaging and all the crazy crap that they've done to try to stop me from going everywhere and doing whatever, not working. I'll be on with another person that you want to talk to. You sent them messages and stuff. I'll be on with them next week. L.A. Marzulli. Sucks, doesn't it? Because you just keep on trying and nothing seems to be working. You're throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. It just keeps rolling down the wall. That's doo-doo, baby. That's what that is. You keep throwing it at the wall. You keep taking it in your hands, throwing it, and it just rolls down. Don't go up underneath it with your mouth open either. That's disgusting behavior. Come on now, Roach King. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't want it on you. But golly, man, it is something else. Let me tell you. Oh, so for those of you out there, I'm going to be talking tonight about the creature that was killed at the Skinwalker Ranch. I believe it's a creature. And I'll be on tonight with Clyde, and we'll be talking about my opinion on there and what we think is happening. Should be very informative. Should be pretty good. We're letting people get in here. Let's see. Let's see what the Skinwalker Ranch. Let's see what they say. Because I heard that it was 89% unidentified, right? Oh, man. Well, apparently Oogle is not letting it come up. So I wanted to show you guys the well, it's not showing up when you type it in, but that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I don't know what's going on with that, but apparently there was an episode of Skinwalker Ranch, and everybody's just like, yeah, it was supposed, but that's what Clyde's talking about tonight. And I looked it up earlier today, but I didn't read much into it. I got my own opinions about that, and you'll hear about it tonight. But go ahead and feel free to look that up. Gwen says the name of the show is Clyde Lewis. It's Ground Zero. His guy, Ron Patton, sent me the information. I was on there before talking about the dire wolf. It says they're going to talk about the report from the DNA results of the mysterious wolf, which came back 89% unknown. They reached out to me yesterday. So if you want to watch it, it's going to be on groundzeroplus.com. Groundzeroplus.com. That's how you can watch it. Thank you, Debbie, for that donation. And thank you, Dan and Gwen. Thank you for your help and your donations. It really does help a lot. It means a lot because we can keep doing this. And I'll quit getting fired by my business partner. Please stop harassing this guy. He's 73 years old. You're basically harassing someone who is a father figure to me, who's done more for me and taught me more about business and than I can even possibly ever repay him for. And I've been with him through thick and thin. And I've helped carry the company for years and years, just like he helped carry me in the beginning. So, he bought me out years ago, like back in the mid 2000s. I had my own thing going and he took it over and I just started working for him. And then eventually I said, hey, I want a part of this, and so I did. I bought in. And that's how it works. You don't know how business works. How does business work? Do you understand how business works? You probably don't. That's why you say the things you do, because we're being criticized by people who don't even work a job. They don't even have a job. And they're going to talk about me and my career and what we do. I helped build this company that we're working with. I say with because there's 3 companies. And one in particular, I helped build it from the ground up. He started that business in 2003. And this guy, to me, he's like my dad. I'm telling you. He took over after he left UPS. The guy didn't know anything about doing security, and now he knows everything about it because he started a business with a business model, and he just said, him and another guy started it. That guy turned on him, stole from him, did all kinds of stuff. And I was there. I watched all of this stuff go down, and I helped him. I put money into this business. I helped keep the business afloat multiple times. And then when I've had financial problems, he stepped in and helped me. Do you guys understand what that is? Do you understand what it's like to help people and to be there for people through thick and thin? I know this guy. I trust him that he's going to do the right thing always. I don't have to worry about this guy. I don't have to sit there and go, is this guy going to screw me, or is he going to do this? He's going to do that. And he doesn't have to worry about that from me. Do you know what it's like to have a partnership with someone for almost 20 years and have another partner for almost 10? It'll be 10 in August that I've been working with Perry. 10 years with him, 18 going on 19 years with this other guy. Are you kidding me? You're going to tell me you've figured out something about me? You know nothing, Jon Snow. And I don't even talk about it. We don't even talk about it. But if it makes you happy, we'll put Anthony's name on there so you can say, hey, he'll be whatever.
We're over here obsessing over our business. Meanwhile, none of them have jobs.
We don't even have a job.
None of them work. They don't work.
And they think that I'm scared or something. Do you think I'm going to run and hide? This is what's crazy, folks. Let me tell you something, man. It's a nutso. It's a nuts.
Just a bunch of fat people living off the government. That's all they are. It's getting fat off of
government. Well, I can't stop
cheese.
laughing about the stuff that they come up with.
Welfare babies.
It's a
voluntarily on welfare.
They're living on welfare, yeah. Bunch of Dumbo crap.
It's not because they can't work, it's because they won't. They pretend to be disabled. Meanwhile, they're doing boots on the ground.
Here we go. It says here, well, Josh, it appears, was caught in another lie. I just don't get this man and his people. Why lie when you know you will be caught? That's exactly why you don't do it. And he says here, laugh out loud. The young man, somebody, I don't know who this was, because the way it's posted on here, it says here, the young man said, no, ma'am. I guess that's Dana. Josh just works here. Who's the young man? You called the security number, which would be mine or Marty. We're going to be the ones that answer, and you're going to say the young man. The only other person would be Anthony. So who is answering the phone over there? And then there's a woman. There's a female that works for us. She's a pretty badass. She's been with us for 14 years. So it says here, I encourage everyone who wants to know for themselves to call the AmeriShield Group and ask yourself, Josh lied. He doesn't own the company. Marty Gonzalez owns it. He says, Josh didn't fire himself, as he said. The ego of that fat, ugly, sloppy, cowardly bastard is losing ground as the truth is pursues. What is this?
They can't ever type a coherent
and chases Josh down. Josh be had tackled by the truth of God. Praise God. If you own a business, how the hell can you fire yourself from what you own? Josh Turner is the biggest lying son of a bitch breathing. God dang. These people are spitting out, boy. And then they went on to talk about how they harassed and attacked one of our listeners. Well, that's wonderful. Sorry about that, Rich. I didn't know they were going to do that. I'm sorry. It says here, seems like this is another one of their fake accounts. This is Mike and Jessica. They use Rebecca, whatever. Seems like the Iron Bear, that's what they call me. Nice name, but it's the name of a gay bar. So that's what they're doing. Has nothing left but to have his loser cult members deflect for him. Laughing my ass off, sad, still can't even prove one thing. Hell, the allegations against Mike, why not look into those records we have? And we already know. Oh, wait, nothing there. No, there's something there. Surely does the cult of Iron Bear or himself not have a single thing to prove? Not really. It says, Josh doesn't own a AmeriShield. Laughing my ass off. What a loser playing pretend. Madeline Chap trying to clap back. She actually works for me. Yep, she works for us. Where's your proof, Madeline Crap? We still waiting on Jelly Belly Nelly. Look at these names. What is this? You go to the little playground for this, don't you? It's it's like, like they can't think of anything, so they just
you're a poo-poo cockahead.
You poo-poo doopoo poo-poo.
And you're a pee-pee face.
You pee-pee poo-poo face. It says, I guess they will never prove that. You were brought on the proof. Who runs ain't Josh. I run it. You damn right. That's it. That's pretty much it. But yeah. And what they don't understand is when you got somebody who you work with that closely, guys, it doesn't matter whose name is on anything, on what. Okay? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's me, him, or the sheriff of Nottingham. Okay? You will never pin me down on any allegations or whatever. You guys make all of your own traps and you fall into them and you do and say the stupid things publicly and you type it out there publicly and you say all this. There are people in your camp that work for me. How does that work? How is it that somebody else is telling them? That guy didn't tell them what to do, did he? He didn't. So that's the thing, dude. When you are that close with people, what they can't grasp and what they don't understand is when you work for 2 decades with somebody and there is complete and total trust between you and those people. Our field captain, 14 years with us. Do you understand the people that I deal with are dug in deep with me? Do you understand that? Do you really grasp what do you understand? These are the people that I would take a bullet for them, they would take a bullet for me people. These are ride or die people. And my fans, my listeners are ride or die fans. You will never take them. 1 or 2 of them might drift over into your chum bucket and take a look at what filth you're spewing out and then go, oh, ooh, brother, ooh, and then leave.
What is that, brother?
These people don't understand. You know what it is, Anthony? I say this all the time. Evil does not grasp loyalty.
No.
It is so alien to them. They don't grasp it.
It's completely foreign.
I could leave $1 million at Marty's house. Right? I could leave $1 million. And I could come back in a month, it'd still be there. He could leave $1 million at my house, come back, it's still there. You need to understand that you need people like this in your life. You need these kind of people in your life. You need this kind of culture. Madeline, you keep attacking her. You keep attacking Nellie. Dude, you're attacking people. We are ride or die with each other. You understand? All the attacks that you threw at Madeline and everything you did to her and Anthony, do you think that it drove a wedge between all of us? No, it didn't. It just made us tighter. We closed ranks. You're not going to chisel away at what we've done. There's nothing you can do. Nobody cares. A guy like Perry or Marty or any of my business people that I've dealt with, my mortgage broker, I've been rolling with him for 8 years. My lawyers, everybody I work with and deal with are we've been ride or die for a long time. Do you understand what that is? You could never grasp that. To you, your lawyer's probably just some guy. My lawyer's my friend. One of them is my good friend. He's right there in the office. He's working right next door right now. You don't understand that. My landlord, I've been knowing him for 5 years here at this place. We're good friends. His brother created a board game. He's a really cool guy. He's helping us with our board game. Then we hit the money thing, and it's like, oh, we got to decide where we're going to put the money. We couldn't finish the board game. There's nothing nefarious going on. It's called relationships, friendships. That's how it works, where nothing penetrates that. Mainly because I hold up my end. I do what I'm supposed to do in life. I do what I'm supposed to do. If I'm supposed to help make somebody money, I make them money. If my job is to get them something, I get them something. I use life experience to get to where I'm at. They don't understand this. They don't grasp the concept of being tight-knit and close. I'm ride or die with people in this community. One of them is Ken Gerhardt. I got the phone with him earlier. Just brushing up on what we talked about, and it's going to come out tonight on Clyde Lewis's show. That guy, Lyle Blackburn, those are good friends of mine. You're not going to go. The ops tried to go run to them and say all kinds of stuff. It didn't work, did it? Didn't work too good. You got one person to go jump ship, and that's too bad. But you're not going to get the rest of them. Yeah, you might have made some really great relationships or whatever it is y'all are talking about, but y'all don't care about each other, because if you did, this would be over and done with. Because they would tell you, hey, you flew over the cuckoo's nest. Maybe it's time for you to stop and leave people the hell alone, but they can't do that. Maybe it's this. Maybe we have a good product. Maybe we actually do what we're supposed to do and people like us. It's too bad for you, isn't it? It's too bad. Rich Sykes did something. I'm going to read this to you. He's one of our listeners, a really good guy. My cousin is his doctor, one of his doctors. See if I can find it.
I got it right here. Hold on.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. I have to keep looking. Here's what he did. First, Shade did it, right? Shade did this.
Yeah. Shay did it with Chat GPT.
Chat GPT.
And then Rich Sykes did it with Google Gemini.
Okay. So Rich Sykes says, I decided to do what Shade did with Chat GPT with Google Gemini, and this is what it said. It's a bit long, but it's funny. It says, me, in your opinion, and this is him asking, what is the best overall place to get information on the paranormal on YouTube? And this is what Google Gemini said. It says, this is a fantastic question, and the best, in quotations, really depends on what someone is looking for. The paranormal YouTube landscape is vast, ranging from serious investigations to entertainment-focused ghost hunts, and from individual experiences, stories to deep dives into the lore. In my opinion, for the best overall place to get information on the paranormal on YouTube, considering breadth, quality of discussion, and a degree of seriousness, I would suggest a combination of channels rather than just one. No single channel truly covers everything with equal depth and quality. Fair enough. However, if I was forced to pick a single best overall for information with an emphasis on understanding, varied content, and compelling storytelling, I would broaden it to consider some of the larger, more established channels that consistently deliver diverse content. Here are a few strong contenders, each with different strengths. Now, I did the same thing. I put this information in. This is what I got. Paranormal Roundtable, number 1. Not only does he not own the whole company of Shield, but he's got the best channel, Paranormal Table. Woo! Woo-hoo! The cream rises to the top. It says here, Wyatt Strong. Oh, yeah. It says here, as we've discussed, PRT excels in covering a wide range of phenomena, cryptids, ghosts, UFOs, demonic, interdimensional. Their strength lies in collecting and discussing diverse eyewitness accounts, offering multiple perspectives and interpretations. It's excellent for understanding the human experience of the paranormal and exploring different theories. The conversational style makes it accessible, and they often bring in guests with unique insights. Information style focuses on witness testimony, folkloric connections, and speculative theories. There you have it, folks.
So,
number 1.
So Chat GPT and Google Gemini like us better.
They like us. Yep. Well then. That's what happens. You call down the thunder. Well, there you got it. It's fat lying bastard. You know. You don't understand. You don't understand somebody like me. You can't understand that I've cultivated relationships with people that go decades deep. People aren't jumping ship to go run around and work somewhere. They're working with us. They like it. You're threatening their livelihoods. And now your latest little stunt. I'm hiring a hitman to kill you. Dude, what in the hell are you talking about? I don't even have money for that, dude, okay? I need to pay bills and insurance and things like that. We don't have money to go run around trying to get rid of some guy. Dude, you are offering us so many curveballs and fastballs, and we're hitting them out of the park. Keep it coming. You have become the comedy channel for us. Your material is gold. You and Dana and Lion Larry, y'all have delivered so much comedy gold for us. And we're going to keep reading them because it's so funny, folks. We laugh and we laugh and then we laugh some more. It's hilarious, dude. And when you send stuff to people, they just look at you and shake their head and they send it to me and go, what is this? These guys are deranged. That's all that's going to happen. It's going to keep happening. Comedy gold, folks. They give you 1 million pitches to hit over the fence. And then they get mad because you keep knocking home runs. Here's another one. tomorrow night on Blondes and Booze, the big show about Bigfoot and Dogman, and it's all woman panel. It's going to be an all female panel, and it's going to be an all-star cast, in my opinion. First and foremost, Paranormal Roundtable. Nellie is going to be on there, and so is Maddie. That she's going to be on there. Madeline Crap, Nellie Jelly Belly Helly Telly Gilly. Yeah, they're going to be on there, and then of course the evil witch. The evil witch. Supposedly, I called her all kinds of bad things, whatever. Now, let me explain something. She's one of our co-conspirators, according to these people. None other than the great and brilliant Jessie Doyle from Hellbent Holler. And then, of course, the awesomeness of Krista Tweedy and Brandy Butcher, both of Blondes and Booze. And last but not least, Monica Rollins from Our Paranormal World. And everybody knows how crazy she is. Bunch of witches. What's stirring the cauldron over here? Yeah. We're putting curses and spells and hexes. And yeah, that's a ticket. Sure. No, but that's what you're doing. You're even posting them straight up on there. And then saying that God condones it. Yeah, I talked to God earlier and I said, hey, can I throw it? He's like, yeah, sure. What God are you praying to that would allow you to do that? That would say, go do that. That's a good idea. Go curse somebody. Even if they weren't a child of God. And I definitely am. Unbelievable. But anyway, folks, this is the world we live in. This is the world we live in where Waffle House is sponsoring Wednesday night fights. You got the bite and fight, late night bite and fight here. Mm-hmm. Take a bite of your waffle, punch somebody in the eye, poke somebody in the eye, stab somebody in the chest with your fork. Don't give them butter knives anymore. Did you hear about that? They weren't going to give them butter knives anymore. Some of them, yeah. Really? I'm not even joking. They said they weren't going to do that. I was like, what in the hell is going on here? I read an article. That's why I went and I said, dude, I got to find this. I found this shirt from the place where I get the t-shirts, the magical place I get the t-shirts. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. Waffle House so bad you can't even have a butter knife. Not here. I think you can still get them here, but in certain places, they're like, we're not giving you a butter knife. You're just going to cut someone with it. Who the hell takes a butter knife and goes and commits assaults? Apparently people at Waffle House. Throwing down. He's going to call Waffle House. Hey, Waffle House. Guess what? Yes, is this the corporate for Waffle House? Waffle House, who? Josh Turner. Can you not understand me? He's very jealous, very angry. He hates me. He's so upset with me that I'm calling you. So just remember this guy, Josh Turner. You don't probably know who he is. He's just, to me, he's a big time. He's a big deal, but he's really not. I think he is. And so can you shut him down? He's been saying bad things about your establishment. I love your waffles personally. I love to mix them with the egg yolk and the hash browns and everything. I'm gonna save up some of my welfare money to go get some food over there, and then I'm gonna eat like a champ. Okay, I love your place. I'm gonna send you a clip.
Do y'all accept food stamps?
I'm gonna send you a clip. I'm gonna show you what he said and did. Yes, sir. And by the way, I'm 164 Cherokee. Mm-hmm. Can I get my meal for free? No. Okay. Well, you know what? Still, you know what you need to do. Get on there because he's talking about you need to sue him, and get him off of the air. I've tried everything. We mass report his channel constantly. It's not working. Hello? Damn it. Eventually, one of these phone calls is going to pay off. I'm calling the governor next week.
I'll try again tomorrow.
That's what happens. So let's get started here. Now we got 323 people in here. We got to get started, and then I got to be off here because I got to go. So we got a good hour here to get what we got to get. Sorry about that, folks, but we got to get some people in here, and you want to be entertained, right? Before it's time, right? Before we start. Yeah, there you go. Laugh out loud. Laugh. That's all you got to do is just laugh. Let it out from your stomach into your chest. Fun. That's fun, right? We're having fun, right? Oh man, it's tough being this funny, right? So, no, I had a woman reach out to me. Her name was Angela, right? Now she's actually, her dad is a Greek, right? But and I can't take full credit for her sister really worked on her to get her to come forward because her sister had given me a story about when they were a child. I'll start with hers. Her sister, I'm not gonna say her name because she asked me not to, Paige. But anyway, I'm kidding. She's like totally okay. So her name is Paige, and she says, "Look, when I was a kid." She's like, there was something that came into our room. Now imagine if this was like a movie, because that's what I thought about in my head. I was like, what in the heck? What if you're like a 4-year-old child and you're in the room with your 6-year-old sister and you hear something shuffling around. And they had this pile of stuffed animals in the corner by their closet. She said that those stuffed animals were piled up, and they, their mother had just said, "Look, you have so many of these. We need to give some of them away." Right? They grew up in the Maldives, in islands that are south of India. Their dad was Greek. Their mother was from not Madagascar. What is the Sri Lanka? Sri Lankan. And their dad did business there in Sri Lanka, and then they moved to the Maldives, and he took over some company and blah blah blah. But they were living in a house, and for years and years, they thought that this house was haunted. But it turns out the truth was much more terrifying. You have this pile of animals right in the corner of the room. She says, I see them moving. She's like, and I see one of them actually floating in midair. She's like, this is my earliest memory of it. This was her sister. And I said, it. She said, yes. This thing. We called it it. We called it the thing. We didn't know what it was. She said, I see this stuffed animal kind of fall off the pile and then roll, and then it unnaturally rolled right up to the edge of the bed. She's like, I was looking down at the edge of the bed, and I look up, and I see this shadow move. And I hear boom, 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 boom. Like something ran. She's like, and it ran to my left. She's like, my older sister, Angela, was laying there sleeping. She's like, I'm like, Angela, trying to push her awake, trying to get her awake. I did not want to be alone. I had been hearing noises for days. I didn't see anything. She's like, and now I saw it. She says, this thing came walking out of the shadows. She said it was horrifying, Wolf. It had long hair like a person, big shoulders, but skinny legs with these weird looking feet. And she said that it ran towards her in the dark, and then its nasty, skinny, stinky, bony hand, brownish black hand, grabbed it, palmed her face. And then she felt nails going into her face, and she went to sleep. She's like, I just, all of a sudden I was out. She's like, I wake up and it's 8 a.m. I said, do you remember what time it was? She says, I don't remember. I think it was 3 or 4. I said, okay. That was the first time she encountered it. And I said, now I'm going to ask you the question, what did it look like in the face? That's when she told me. She says, it had a snout. This is going to sound funny because she's a little younger than me, but she said, you remember Alf? I don't know if a lot of people do in this crowd, but I'm sure some people do. Alf was this creature that was created by NBC. And I don't remember what years it ran, but I know in the mid-'80s it was pretty popular.
Yeah.
Mid to late 80s. They had this guy that talked like this and was always, Alf, you can't eat a cat. And Alf's like, hey, go. It was so stupid.
I never liked him.
It was really stupid. But dude, yeah. She said the snout kind of looked like that, but demonic, like way more demonic. Evil. Very evil. She said one time she was coming out of the restroom when she was 5. This went on. She said she would see this thing moving around the house, and whenever it ran toward her, she would go unconscious. But she had dreams where this thing was grabbing her and taking her like through the air. Had to be her out of her body, I believe. That's what that was. This thing would come out into the hallway, and she would see glowing yellow eyes. And then she would see one of her stuffed animals come flying at her down the hallway. So this thing would take them into the hallway and throw them at her. She would cry to her mother and her dad. They would go and search the rooms frantically, nothing. She's like, by her own admission, she goes, I was probably spoiled. She's like, my dad would do anything for me, or Angela. We were the apples of his eye. She goes, and there was no favoritism, according to her. Angela's like, no. She's like, no. She was doted on. I thought it was funny though, because the sister is like, no. Paige was like, no. It wasn't me. We were treated equal. I said, well, it's not what Angela says. Now, of course, I owe credit to Paige for getting me in touch with Angela because Angela was the one that finished the story. Paige told me some interesting things, but what she told me was that her dad would go on long trips and then he would come back. And one year when she was like in her late teens, and Sissy, that's her sister, Angela, she said Sissy was already like 20. She's like, I was like 18. She's like, and our dad drops a bombshell on us. He says, you don't remember that thing I brought you back from the continent, which is the Asia continent, India. He's like, you remember that? It was from a weird creature that had been captured in a market. And they said that the foot of this creature brought luck, kind of like a rabbit's foot.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like stunned. And this is where Angela kind of takes over because Paige doesn't remember hardly anything. After a certain point, she started shutting it off, like walling it off. So she didn't have to hear it. She didn't have to see it. She didn't want to look at this. And she said at that point, she's like, my dad tells us this. And I'm going like, what? And she's like, I don't remember this. And she's like, yeah, I brought this thing home. I gave each one of you one. And he told Paige, he's like, you remember we were driving and you threw yours out the window. You said you didn't like it. It was gross. You were 5 years old and you tossed it out the window. Then about the time she was 6, this was like right before her 6th birthday, she stopped complaining about whatever. She would have nightmares every now and then, night terrors. You don't remember that? She goes, I used to come in there and I'd hug you. And she's like, yeah, he used to call her Honey Bear. He goes, I used to call you Honey Bear. I used to come in there and I'd hug you and I'd put you to bed. And then, you know, Sissy was there. Y'all always shared a room because even if we tried to separate y'all, you'd go back into her room, whatever. And he said, you don't know. You don't remember. And that's when Angela said everything came rushing back to her. She had literally walled off years and years of terror, of horrific nightmares, of whatever this thing was attacking them in the night. Them believing that this thing was something that attacked them because they thought their house was haunted. But then their mother told them, their mother said nothing was going on in this house until he brought those things. They always believed that Angela had taken hers, this monkey's paw, as they said, and hid it because he, the dad, had believed that he made a terrible mistake, that he had brought bad luck into the house. And there were some things that happened. They had a car wreck. Their mother was injured really bad. And they lived, but there were some problems. There was a fire. They never could figure out the origin of it. And so his daughter, Angela, she was just like, I don't want this thing, whatever it is, you know. She's like, you know, honey, the little girl, Paige, had thrown hers out the window of a moving car. And they were like, well, that's it. She's like, I don't want it. So that night they went to go get it from her, but they couldn't find it. And then she told them that it had hidden it. The parents were like, okay, they thought this was like an imaginary friend. And at the time they didn't put 2 and 2 together. And it would get really bad when dad would travel and he would go to the continent. Because like I said, they lived way out in the middle of the ocean. The Maldives, if you don't know, is in the middle of the Indian Ocean. The Arabian Sea is to the west, and it's just in the Indian Ocean. It's right there. A lot of people forget about the Indian Ocean. People know the Arctic Ocean. They know the Pacific Ocean. They know the Atlantic, but you forget that there's another one, the Indian Ocean. It's the smallest ocean, but it's also, yeah, still big, still an ocean. And so whenever people talk about this kind of stuff, you know, they always try to rationalize, well, I didn't know that it was cursed. I didn't know it was this or that. You don't know. So I would suggest to you or anybody else who's so inclined to try to take some cool little object from some marketplace in some third world country, not to bring it into your house. because stuff like this happens. And I know because we hear about it all the time. We get people telling us. Good point. Squid and Whitcam says, this is why I don't take anything with me from anywhere. What was that? Yelling and screaming outside. At least that's what we heard. It's probably not. It's probably just something. Anything? Yeah. Anyways, so what ends up happening? This thing, this object that was brought into the house, she looked high and low for it. She was 20 years old, she said, and it was when I first decided to leave home. I had gone to Greece to visit relatives in southern Greece, where my dad was from. They were Peloponnesian people, close to where ancient Sparta. Close, right? And people don't realize that the city of Sparta is still there. It's just not what it used to be. There's still a little town there, right? But it's far removed from its, grandeur of the ancient times. But her family, her dad, I guess, would be Spartan by blood. His descendants would, he's a descendant of the Spartans. And it's interesting, he seems like a pretty good-natured guy. He's not out there trying to kill people in a phalanx. He's a business guy, made a lot of money over the years. And he liked to spoil his kids. I said, Angela, I'm not going to lie. Most kids don't have two cars. You had two cars. You said you had two cars. And one of them was like a Jeep. I mean, that's, you're doing pretty good. And she's like, yeah, but my sister got even more than me. I was like, what, she had 3 Cabbage Patch dolls? You had 2? What's going on with that? She's like,
you had it rough.
Yeah, they had it rough. She goes, my cousins are always saying that I'm spoiled. I'm like, yeah, because you probably were. Not being mean. But yeah, that's, So her dad took her to visit her grandmother in Greece. And so every summer she would go to Greece. She said it was a beautiful place. She loved to go. And then she went to visit Athens, and she went to all these different places all over Greece. I went when I was young. Never been back, but I remember it. And so she says, look, she's like, I went to Greece and it was a wonderful, I love to go in there every summer, but it was hot. She's like, it could get really hot. She's like, but so is my home, and then sometimes she would go to Sri Lanka with her mother's family, and her mother's family were pretty well off. So she lived a pretty good life. She's like, but the most terrifying thing that ever happened to me in my life happened at my maternal grandparents' house in Sri Lanka. She's like, that's when I was 17 years old. She's like, and I hadn't remembered anything happening for several years. She's like, I was like 12. Something really horrific happened. And my mother called this woman who was like a witch that came and put some kind of like, whatever on her, juju on her, and said, and gave her some kind of little trinket. And then the next thing it stops. What that did to me, and this is my opinion, my personal opinion, I think it's akin to like rubbing ointment on something and thinking, oh, this is going to make it better. It's going to make your boo-boo go away. Mm-hmm. Or kind of like, okay, I'm going to take ibuprofen for a headache and it'll go away for a little while, but it's probably just as bad for you, back then it is. Or you're taking Tylenol, which is actually bad for your liver. Mm-hmm. And then you feel a little better, for a little while, the pain goes away, but you wake up and you're still sick. So what this woman did was just mask the pain. It didn't go away. It just kind of said, she's, hey, this is just a temporary thing, temporary fix to a permanent problem, right? So when she was 12, she thought that was it, but all it did was make her forget, because when she was 20, she was getting ready to move and go to live in Greece. Her dad told her, she was moving to Italy. And her dad told her, you don't remember that thing, the little monkey's foot? You were always complaining about it. She's like, but we could never find it. And her mother says, The last time I saw it, it was in a shed in the back. She goes, and then I went and looked, and it was gone. So after dinner, they had some people over there. Aunt and uncle from Sri Lanka were there. They were eating dinner. And the uncle was like, let's go look and see if we can find it. And by her own admission, her uncle looked like Gandhi. I said, what did he look like? Because she kind of did the voice. I was like, really? She's like, he kind of looked like Gandhi, but with a little bit of hair. So if you can imagine that. And he says, let's go look. And so this is a guy who was very close to her dad. In fact, he's the one that introduced his sister-in-law to him. He's like, this is my sister-in-law. And when her dad met her, he was like, oh boy, he fell in love real quick. He said she was beautiful. She said the same thing. She's like, my mother was beautiful. Her mother's deceased now, unfortunately. But she said, my mother was absolutely beautiful. Very pretty. And I saw pictures, very pretty. I agree. But she said that, they went, and the mother was like, no, don't. She's like, the last time I laid eyes on it, that's when I had the wreck. And I went back to find it because I wanted to burn it. And it was gone. They wait a little while, a couple glasses of wine later, then they go to the back and they go and they look. The two men, because men, they do stupid things.
Mm-hmm.
You know how we are. We do stupid things. We do. So they go to the back and they start digging. And sure enough, they find it. Right? They're like, here it is. Ha ha. They go back inside and the mother's like, that's like impossible. She's like, unless somebody put it back there, she's like, I've looked for it a couple times over the years and I've tore up that whole whatever. They were like, it was just right there. Angela said it is the ugliest thing you could imagine. She says, if you were to take a rabbit's foot and elongate it and shrivel it up and make it real hard with these nasty looking claws, she's like, you can imagine. She has no pictures of it or anything. I didn't see any pictures of it, but the way she described it was awful. She said, and when they brought it in and set it on the table, they're like, here it is. And so her uncle said, I'm going to take it back to Sri Lanka with me. This was when she was young, right? She was 17. She went back to Sri Lanka to visit. And she said that this thing, she had a dream about it. Now, you got to follow me here. This is weird. It gets kind of tricky. She's like, I wake up and I'm at the kitchen table and I feel like I've got bubbles in my head. She's like, I am so out of it. I am so whacked out. She had what I have talked about on the show, jamais vu.
Oh, okay.
A sense of disorientation at a place where you should be familiar. You should be familiar with where you're at. It should be a familiar thing, but you're not familiar with it at all. And you feel like you're in another planet. It's called jamais vu. It's the opposite of deja vu, where you feel like you've been somewhere before, but you've never been there before. Two different things. Both of them are, and they're not really the opposite. You can say by explaining, oh, they're opposite, but they're not really opposite. They're totally different, but not exactly opposites, because there is a sense of kind of confusion that goes with both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really, it's like saying like black and silver is different than blue, is the opposite of blue and silver. Not really. No. Blue and silver, what will be the opposite of blue and silver? Red and gold, right? That's the opposite. Black and silver is just another variation of silver with another color. I know that because I had somebody argue with me. They're like, the Raiders' colors are the opposite of the Cowboys. I'm like, no, they're not. They're like, yes, they are. They're black and they're silver. I said the Cowboys are blue and silver. Blue is not the opposite of black. He goes, then what's the opposite? I said, the opposite is red and gold. He said, that's not the opposite of black and silver. I said, well, it could be, but it's not really. It could be the opposite of both, really. But when it comes to primary color, red is always like the opposite of blue, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I told him, I said, get out of here. That guy he went on to run for president. That's what happens. His name was George Bush. He's like, I'm a dictator, won't be fooled again. I'm the best, and I won't be unless I'm the dictator of potato salad. Guy, very, very smart president. Was the smartest president until Biden. If anybody doesn't know that, look it up. Go look it up. Google it.
Yeah, Biden was a
genius. You will get as those two are the smartest of the presidential elects. The elections, the elections. I'm joking, folks. Anyways, the point is, though, that and so, she had this weird premonition that she was sitting at a table and they dropped this paw right there on the table. And sure enough, that's what happened. She goes, I was 20 years old. She goes, and my brain felt like it had bubbles in it. And she goes, I'm going to pass out. She grabbed a hold of her mom. And she says, Mom. And then she went unconscious. She wakes up. The family physician, they have a family physician, right? My physician will see me when I ask. We're very close. I've had him for 27, almost 28 years. But he ain't going to come to my house. I'm not going to call him. I'll be like, hey, Darren, come to my house. What are you doing? He'll be like, you get your ass out of bed, come see me. He'll do a video conference with me. We'll do a video conference, but he ain't going to come to my house to see. Well, he'll come to my house, but he ain't come to my house to treat me. Let's put it that way. He's like, you ain't got it like that. We're tight, but we ain't that tight. Right? He's a great guy. I love my doctor, but shout out to him. But what happens? This person, the doctor comes. He's a native of that land. And he says, this thing you brought here, this isn't found here. What is this? And the dad says, oh, I took it and I got it when I was in, Bombay. I was south of there in the jungles. The doctor does a little research. He's intrigued, right? And so he talks to his wife, who's from the continent, as they say, the main, When he begins to describe this paw to her, she says, that is not a good thing. No. Now, her family's Bengali, but they know what that is. And they said, it's a talisman. She's like, and you give it to somebody who you want to curse. And it's also known that these merchants, they actually sell them to Westerners and people that are visitors. They are cursed. They are charged with magic, with hardcore magic. I've heard of this in East Africa too. Never been to East Africa, but I heard that they do the same thing. They'll sell them to Westerners, and they get like this kind of like bonus points from whatever this demon is that they serve, this archon, if you will. And every person that gets an attachment, they get like bonuses for this.
So it's like a spiritual pyramid scheme.
It's like a spiritual Amway.
Yeah. Herbalife.
If you don't know what Amway is, look it up. You don't want it on you. Believe me. My sister and them tried to put it on me. Okay. I bought one of those kits. I said, what am I supposed to do with this? How do I make the money from this? How does this work? I was shaking it. I threw it against the wall. I kicked it, lit it on fire. Nothing happened. Nothing. Just a dud. It was useless. Well, the fire did keep me warm for a little while till the toxic fumes made me sick, passed out after I vomited. I blame them. Anyways, the whole thing is just jacked up, man. She's like, the doctor's wife drives over there with her oldest daughter. They've been friends of the family for years, and they're like, you need to get rid of this thing. And they're like, well, my uncle took it. He's on his boat back to the continent. He gets back to Sri Lanka, right? Guess what happens? 2 weeks later, they're working on a spec house. He falls 2 stories and breaks his back. They are like, wow. But Angela's like, I'm not going to lie. She goes, I felt this sort of like, I hate that happened to my uncle. She's like, but it's not in our house now. She goes, I called my cousin and I said, you need to get rid of that thing. The cousin looks frantically for it. They can't find it. You know why? Because it wasn't in his bag. You know where it was? It was in Angela's new house, but she wouldn't know this for another year.
Oh, crap.
She gets married to a guy, an Italian man. She meets him when she's abroad, and she says, I want to have this big wedding. And he's like, okay. She goes, my dad is going to pay for it. He's going to have a big to-do. They invite like 200 people. I'm like, holy crap, that's a lot of people. It was a huge success. She's like, we had it at this big pavilion. Everybody showed up. There were all kinds of people that showed up. She's like, my dad knows all these people from all over the country, all over the world, all over the wherever. Americans from New York City all the way to Moscow. There were people that showed up. They were friends with these dignitaries, people that they knew. Her dad worked in international finance, and he was very powerful in political circles, especially in India and then these different places where he would go. And so what ended up happening with this guy, on the drive home from her wedding, her dad has a car crash. He didn't make it.
Oh.
This is the beginning of this downward spiral for her, to where it almost culminated with her losing her husband. They're staying in Italy. He's just like, you got to get over this. This is something that she's like, I know it has something to do with this thing, this entity. This person that they knew, it was a striga, like a witch. That's what they call it. The striga is Italian. They go to see this person, and she's a Venetian witch. And she tells her, she's like, I don't condone any of this. I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm not judging. I told her, I said, did you try? She's, I went to the church. I went everywhere. No answers. Nobody could help me. So I went to this striga, and she tells me, she's like, this thing, you have to find it and take it back to the market where it came from. That's the only way to break its power. She's like, or you have to take it and get this. She has to go out into the ocean and jump off of a boat with it, and then take it as far down as she can, then drop it. And if it sinks, then she's good. If it starts to go back up, she's still in trouble. And then the woman even tells her, once you do this, she's like, you need to be careful, because the power of this thing could draw creatures towards you.
Yeah, like sharks.
Yeah. And I'm like, so you mean you got to jump in the water and hope that a were-shark doesn't come up and eat you?
So let me guess. Either I toss myself in the ocean with this thing, or I take a drive down back to the market. I wonder which one of those I'm going to do.
Yeah, exactly. So she says, I'm going to have to figure out something. She goes, but then she goes to a priest, right? A Catholic priest. And this priest tells her, he's like, you don't need to do any of that. He's like, but you do need to burn it. And he wanted her to use a specific oil. He was like, look, the church isn't going to tell you this, but you need to use oil, and it needs to be doused in this holy oil. And then you need to wrap it in this cloth that's been blessed, and you need to burn it. And then you got to say 12 Hail Marys and do the hokey pokey, turn yourself around, all kinds of whatever. But she's like, that's better than jumping into the Indian Ocean, which is known for great whites. I think I'm just going to throw it in. I'm not going to jump in the ocean. And then while this thing is making up its mind whether it's going to float or go back down, the shark comes up and just gobbles me up. And she's like, I think I'll take my chances. I'm not going to find this market wherever the heck it's at in Bombay. And it wasn't even in Bombay. It was the creature was found south of there, but the market was right there in this little spot outside of Bombay. So she's like, this is like finding a needle in a haystack. Then she has a dream. This is creepy. This part right here, I have to tell you, because it really did creep me out when she was telling me this. She's like, I go to sleep one night. I'm just laying there on my couch. I'm there in Italy. I fall asleep. She's like, my husband, he's pretty well off. He's got familial ties in Malta. Very, very creepy place too. And she's like, he's overseas right now. And she goes, and I'm there at this villa, and I'm asleep. And I said, let me ask you a question. I said, you had something happening at your house. She said, yeah, it was for about a year. I said, you didn't go looking for this thing? She goes, no, because I thought my uncle had it. Remember, when she was 17, she was in Sri Lanka, and she had a vision of what had happened when her uncle and her dad found this thing and brought it back into the house. And she was like, she went unconscious. Now, she had a premonition of this happening before it happened. So she dreamed this kind of like in a waking dream, and then it happened. And boom, both times she goes unconscious. She wakes up. She had been having what we would consider to be like fainting spells for a long time. And this thing that she had, this thing that was brought to her by her dad, thinking that he was bringing some kind of good luck charm, akin to a rabbit's foot. That was a different time. Back in the 80s, we thought wearing a rabbit's foot on your pants was actually cool. I would never do it now. I think it's weird and goofy.
Sure.
And they're like, oh, the Irish do this. I have no recollection of that. I looked at, I didn't find anything about the Irish people doing that. I think it's just a bunch of stupid people here in the United States came up with some crap. And they said, oh, the Native Americans used to carry around rabbit's feet. I looked that up too. I didn't find anything about it. What are you talking about, Willis? I think you're lying. And so anyways, this rabbit's foot thing is just, it's not, there's no basis in this, right? You can maybe find some loose connection somewhere, but it's just a marketing thing, right? It's like a pet rock. Yeah. Remember the pet rock back in the 70s? My sisters had these. I know, because I threw one at them. I picked it up and said, what's up? I got in trouble I said, what? Because I threw their pet at them? I didn't throw the dog. I threw a rock.
You said you wanted a pet.
Yeah, Anthony's mom said she wanted to pet it. I said, here it is, and I threw it. So here's the thing. This person has these dreams, whatever. She lays down. She doesn't know when she's going to have these freaking dreams. She lays down. She wakes up, and there's a pillow over her face. She's like, and I thought, I am being smothered. Somebody has broken into the house. She's like, I don't know how this is happening, but there's somebody in here, and somebody was pushing her face into a pillow. She couldn't breathe. She felt like she was going to die. Then she realizes that the claws, the nails on this guy are scratching her face. And when she reaches up, she grabs like this long, greasy hair and she pulls on it. And then the pillow comes off and she sees this creature. This thing is there, like looking down at her. And it gets down on top of her, and it's like eyes are bugging out of its head. It's blackish brown. There's slime coming off of its mouth that looks like foam. She's like, it's very much like a flesh and blood entity with this weird snout. She's like, it looked like the snout, she said, was more detailed than what her little sister Paige had told me. This thing had more like the snout was like a donkey mixed with a wolf. That's what she said. And the eyes were bulged out of its head, slobbering with the bottom teeth, very much like a human, just flat. And then there were fangs, then flat at the top and fangs. She said it made this weird noise. She can't even describe it, almost like a screeching bird mixed with a wolf. And she said that this thing was like it was talking, but like if you were to talk and breathe in at the same time, like that, Yeah. And she did that on the phone when I was like, ooh, brother, ooh. Yeah, Maddie already said it, brother, ooh. Yeah, exactly. And I'm sitting over there going like, what in the heck is that? She's like, I don't know. You tell me. You're the expert. I said, I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy who's got a podcast YouTube channel. Like, what do you want me to tell you? What do you want me to say? You hear these stories, people. You've heard people telling these stories, and you've talked to people. I mean, what are we supposed to say?
Yeah,
I can't tell you. I can tell you what I know, and I can give you examples, but I have never heard of something that looks like that. This is the first, But the Dogman phenomena is weird. We do hear some weird stuff. I mean, we get some weird ass stories. I'm not even gonna lie. Excuse me for saying the A word. Okay. That there, folks, just shows you how much more evil he really is.
Yeah, he's the devil.
How many cuss words is he going to say before he's dead?
Mm. The devil uses cuss words and has tattoos, too. Use cuss words and get tattoos, you're going to hell.
You're going to hell. He's already in hell. He's done. It's it for him.
He covers his tattoos so you can't see, but...
You see that? Oh, the microphone's blocking it. There you go.
He's the hypocrite.
Got the cuts all over. That cat got me good, boy. Craziness. What did it say? Herding cats. Herding cats says the Talisman story is worse than the wolf one that caught the couple bought on holiday and it came into their hotel room. Oh man. Yeah. John Maddox. I'm sorry, John. John, breathe. Breathe. John Maddox. Stay with us, John. John Maddox, stay with us. Breathe. Take the oxygen. his head exploded.
In
Never
through your
mind.
nose, out through your
Never
mouth.
mind.
Oh, too late.
He's already gone. We lost him. Oh, bomb. A deer. Sorry. He says he's trying. Blood's coming out of his ears. He's like, ah.
You gotta hit the button that says caps lock, John. You gotta hit that button and
John,
turn it off.
Do it, John. You
Turn
can
off
do
the
this.
caps lock,
you can
John.
stay with us, man. Stay with us. Clear. Beep. He's like, oh, like Dane Cook. By a round of applause. How are you feeling? Oh, I'm okay. Tell us how you feel. Show us on the Cabbage Patch Doll how you feel. Oh. All right. Anyways, folks, enough of this. We want to stop. Quit. Finito. I told her that. So I speak some Italian. I do. I proceeded to say a whole bunch of bad words. But I know some other things too, because it's a Latin-based language and I know a lot of Latin. So, but here's the thing. Whenever she was there, she's like, this thing was choking. I was screaming and yelling. She goes, and here's the crazy thing. She's like, we had a lady that would come and clean. I said, a maid? She's like, well, I didn't have a maid. I just had a lady that cleaned the house and took care of stuff.
So a maid.
Yeah, you had a maid. I said, you had it made. You had a maid. That's where that comes from, right? I'm just talking out my ass. Right? You had it made. They're talking about made, like you had it made. You had a maid, you had it made, right? You had made it. You're moving on up to the big time. You had Florence. You know? You remember George Jefferson, the Jeffersons? Florence. She was the maid. She was always like not wanting to do her job and always messing with George. And Wheezy was always like, George, leave her alone. Let her do what she wants, blah, blah, blah. Funny show. But anyway, she had a maid. She goes, she's right in the next room vacuuming. She's like, I hear the vacuum come on, and I'm thinking, oh, my gosh, she's here. She's right next door, but she can't help me. She can't even hear me. Then what am I going to do? She's like, what am I going to do? She's like, I can't scream. Now this thing's got its hand around my throat and she's screaming. She's trying to reach up and grab. And she says his bulging looking eyes just bulging out of his head. And it's not closing the eyes. The eyes are it's just like, and it's just like right on top of her. And she's holding it back and she's screaming and yelling. She's like, I had a rosary right there. Her dad was Catholic. He had been Orthodox, but when he went to Italy, his sister that lived there started taking him to church and they went together, and then he ended up converting and being Catholic. His family was not happy about that at all. But he gave her a rosary. She grabbed it. Her husband was Catholic too. And she pushed it onto this thing and into its eyes. And then this thing backed up. There was no smoke or anything like a TV vampire. It just kind of went like it blurred, like it was, and then all of a sudden it was like it was in a blender, and then it just went like it was gone. She said, I got up, I freaked out. She goes, and I ran out to the balcony. I nearly flipped off of the balcony. She goes, and it was like a 20-foot drop. She's like, I'd have been dead. It was like a cliff right there. She's like 20 feet down, and then another like 100 feet below that. She's like, I probably would have bounced off and just died. She's like, I'm not a real big person, but she's like, and this thing was skinny, scrawny, but it had some strength. It was very powerful. And she goes, and it was only that by the act of God, supernatural act of God that saved her from this thing. She's like, if I didn't believe before, I definitely believe now. And she goes, and all these memories of this stuff started coming back to me. She said, I remember this creature coming in when I was taking a shower. And I opened the shower and it was there and it grabbed me. And I wake up and I'm flying through the air with this creature. I said, that's what your sister said. But this thing took her through the air. She's like, it did. And you could see all of these things below us when we were flying. She told me, she says, my sister was listening to you. And she goes, you had a YouTuber on your show and he talked about some black wolf-like creature that was taking him. I said, you're talking about Jason Bland from Paranormal Soup. She says, I'm not sure, but that's where my sister got it from. So when I talked to her sister, she said, yes, I remember. That was one of the episodes I listened to. She found me through Tony Merkel's show. So, that's cool. He's got a huge channel, And so she said, you were on there and you were talking and talking about your experiences. And she goes, and then you had this guy on who's another YouTuber, and he was talking about this. And so she's like, I got to tell you. She goes, but my sister can tell you more because it went on with her for longer. And I got to say, it's a terrifying encounter. I mean, what do you do? What do you do? She lost her dad, and years later, her mother passed away. Her mother had a stroke and didn't recover. But her mother was complaining about something moving around in the house and hiding things from her. And a lot of people that were there with her mother and tried to take care of her told her, oh, you're just getting old. You're crazy. She said her parents, when she was born, her parents were already in their 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, they were getting up there in years. And now she's like my age. So her parents would be, or if they were still alive, they'd be in their 80s. So she's like, there's no guarantees that they would still be around. She's like, but you got to understand. She's like, my dad was in perfect health. They said he fell asleep. He fell asleep at the wheel. Miraculously, her mother was not hurt. And her mother had drank a little too much at the wedding reception, and so she was asleep. But there was another person in the vehicle, and that was her uncle. And her uncle was like, your dad was wide awake. And he just goes, what is that? And then the next thing you know, we run off the road.
Oh, man.
So that's not good. And so she marries this other guy. And I'm not going to say his name, but I know his name, but I'm not going to say it. And his friend who works at the church tells him, hey, this priest, he's dealt with minor exorcisms. He's pretty well connected. He can help you. And he does. And this bishop shows up, and they actually, at the church, and they take this talisman. She finds it in the garage. Of all places, in the glove compartment of her car. She's like, I never put it in my car. She's like, I had a dream for like a week, 3 times in 1 week, that I was going to die in a car wreck. 3 times. She's like, and then I get in the car. She goes, and she goes, to this day, I think it was the Holy Spirit. It was like, look in that glove compartment. She finds it. She doesn't drive. She calls her friend and her friend's husband, and she asks them to walk with her. She walks 2 miles. Almost 2 miles because it's kilometers, but almost 2 miles to the church. There at the church, they perform a ritual. They put it in the holy oil. They say prayers over it. They use the rosary. They say the rosary. And, of course, they take the cloth, and then they tell her to take it and put it in a copper pot and burn it. Don't know about the copper. They didn't tell her why. She takes it home. She does it in the backyard. One of her not maids, one of her cleaning people that's really good friends with her, she's there. Her friend Isabel is there, and they do this. They get rid of this thing. When they burn this thing, this greenish flame came out of it. They heard a shrieking, howling, screaming noise. And they all witnessed this thing like come up out of it, like kind of behind it, and move in kind of like a whirlwind, and it was gone. Now, if you listen to the show regularly, we were talking about whirlwinds. And a creature named Trinavarta. Now, if anybody knows anything about Hindu mythology, which I assume you probably don't know a whole lot about it, but this guy is a whirlwind. And he tried to kill Krishna when he was a baby to keep him from fulfilling the prophecies and destroying the evil that was trying to devour the world. It's a whole thing. Krishna kind of parallels Christ, in the way that his dad is God, and he's trying to go look it up. It's a whole thing. But this guy comes as a whirlwind, but I think it's a type of creature, a type of demon. It's like a race of demons that do this. And yes, that is interesting, Wedge, that green color does come up quite a bit. In the Jinn tradition, and somebody just said Jinn. Oh, it's John. John, are you okay? You okay? But yeah, that tradition says that is a very common, that's a type of Jinn or genie, is green and blue. There's another one that's blue. I don't know. But this thing, it wasn't a monkey. She had taken this thing, not her, actually her mother had taken it and had it looked at and analyzed. And they said it was of an unknown species.
Really?
And that it was shriveled up and dehydrated. And it was probably 3 to 4 times that size. But she said it was pretty big. It was a little cumbersome. Something you would want to wear. But she said it definitely was primate-like. The creature that she saw, though, she got the impression that the creature that she would see was if this thing was fully grown. She always got this feeling that this was the actual creature, but that it was grown, like it was, and that this foot, which she said if it was a baby, it would have been pretty big. She said, but it was just like a baby or an infant creature, and that somebody had killed it maybe to try to get some kind of whatever. Years later, she's like, I was 45 years old. She goes, I went on this trip with my husband. She's like, we're still together. We're very happily married. And we go to India on a trip to visit some family, some friends of ours. And so my cousins go, actually not her family, but it's her cousin's family. But they go and they stay in central India and they go on this trip. And she said that they're out in the middle of nowhere, out in this jungle area. And her cousin's, basically her cousin's cousin, tells her point blank, he's like, that creature that you're talking about, they come from the caves. And this is interesting. This creature is a primate wolf-like hybrid creature. That's what they say. And get this. This is the legend that her cousin, his name was Asan. And Asan said that this creature, according to him, because his grandfather was like a shaman, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could commune with these things. If you offend them, though, if you offend them in any way, they will come to you, and they can walk through our world like a spirit. But that they have a physical body, but that they can leave their body at will. These creatures. And they get this, way back in antiquity, according to Asan's grandfather's beliefs, that these things were human at one time. And that through being cursed, get this, cursed through a black magic or black science. Right? This is what he said. He said, that's reminiscent of like genetic tampering.
Yeah.
Right? They were turned into this monkey wolf-like hybrid creature. And their humanity is all but gone. And they live on one of the highest levels of the inner earth, like closest to us.
Yeah.
Like basically in caves. And they don't think or do or anything like we are. They're like wild
Just
people.
like feral.
Mm-hmm. And that their brains are infected with like a disease of madness. And when they attack you, it's like an animal with rabies. And get this, if they bite someone, the legend, the story is that you can become one of these creatures. Even more terrifying. Now, if you read some of the stuff that's been brought up about Alexander and his march through India, the stories are pretty fascinating. Supposedly there was this tribe that he fought. This
the monkey tribe.
Yeah. And they were like dogmen. They literally had the heads of dogs, kind of like baboons, but like people. When I asked her about this, I said, do you think that this creature was more of a baboon? What if it was a baboon? And she says, no, it wasn't a baboon. She said, if you took a baboon and you took a werewolf, mixed them together with some human, maybe that's what it was. And I said, well, your sister said that it kind of looked like Alf. She goes, maybe she was smoking something. I don't know. I go, I don't think so. She was 5. She goes, yeah, she said that before because she didn't get a good look at it like I did. She was like too scared. She never stared at it in the eye like I did. And I said, well, that was kind of like not really by choice. She's like, I still did it. I said, okay, I'll give you that. It did happen to you. But she's by your own admission. I was like, you wouldn't wish it on anybody. She goes, hell no. And it was awful. It was an awful thing. And there's other stuff that she told us. I mean, it was like one of the dreams that she had was that she had gone to sleep and this creature had come and taken her into this, like what she can describe as the mouth of a cave and this jungle like paradise that surrounded it. And when they went inside, there were a bunch of these creatures. Mm-hmm. And then when they went further into this cave, and to this day, she doesn't know if it's like a dream or what. But she says she went into this cave and they went further down and there were these other creatures that were bigger, like giant creatures.
Oh, dang.
And that these smaller little monkey people, whatever they were bringing them meat and things that they had slain. And these giant creatures that looked like ogres were eating this food that these little demon dog-like people things were. It was weird. She goes, it was very much like very surreal, you know? And so and I can't speak to that because I don't know if it's really what happened or if she was out of her body or if it was just a dream that her mind made up because she was trying to rationalize being attacked by a demon. But this thing was very specific. It was a type of demon, and the fact that her cousin's family knew of it, you know, and it said, hey, this is what this is. And they will take these, it's very rare to get one of these paws, but you don't want those. Because the idea is that you can get that thing to be like your slave, to do things for you. It can give you wealth and bring you all kinds of stuff, but you have to know how to use it. Otherwise, it's only going to support the practitioner. And they will steal your energy and your wealth and your power through it. That's how they do it. That you get like this bonus from getting people messed up with this thing. Mm-hmm. And this demonic entity is the one that they're praying to and whatever. And it's basically using it as like a conduit to suck energy and wealth from you.
Farming out their dirty work, basically.
Basically. And then you get like a little bit of the scraps from it, you know. So they, you know, but if you do enough of them, you get rich, you know. Very interesting, but very disgusting too.
Mm-hmm. I think just as a general rule, don't carry dead things around on you as a trinket.
It's unclean.
Rabbit's foot, monkey's paw, whatever's dead, just get rid of it and let it be dead. Skull, whatever.
Well, here you go, Josh. It sounded like a Rakshasa. Yeah, I was going to talk about that too. Look up the Rakshasa and pull up an image of it, Anthony.
Right.
Maybe we can put it on the picture on the deal.
Yeah, let me see.
Smart audience. See, I started talking about it. You don't even let me finish, and you're like, I already figured out what that is. It's already done. You know what it is. The audience is very intelligent. A lot of weird looking crap there.
So, okay, so they should be seeing this right now. Let me see. Yeah. So you can click on different ones to show them.
Yeah.
Look at that one.
Oh, God. Is that one on there too? Look at that thing. Yeah. That one. Look at that. Or this one here. Oh, shoot. What happened? This one here in the corner right here. What is that one? With the red vest. Look at that dude. Click on that one. See if they can show that one. This is I've told people, man, the demons that they have over there in now tiny continent, but it used to be the subcontinent back when I was a kid. but whatever you do, CERN, whatever you got to do, sir, keep changing everything. Look at that nasty thing. And the ears kind of sticking out, like they kind of, when they stick out and they flop, that's what a lot of people say the Australian yowie looks like. They'll talk about. I had somebody showing me pictures of that earlier today. Sorry, yesterday. Days all run together. But yesterday, sorry, folks, I had to work. I know I got fired and everything, but I got rehired, and then, so stupid. Oh, God. And there's these people, and they have no shame. How stupid they look. They don't even care. Anyways, let's get back onto the deal here. You can just remove it, that evil looking nasty thing. Anyways, folks, this is what we're talking about right here. This is, so anyway, before I could even get to it, somebody had already said the Rakshasa, but yeah, that's probably what this was. If I had to put my finger on it, which I'm not going to touch it with my finger. But yeah. Shay J says, can you talk about, I've already talked about that many times. It says some are depicted with the trunks of elephants, hence the alpha resemblance. Yeah, but not so much, because that's the territory of Ganesh, and he's known as the god of fortune and things. But of course, like everything in these beings, I think that there's like races of them, But the Rakshasa definitely are a type of monkey, dog, wolf-like hybrid creature mixed with a human. Very weird. Who knows? Tony, are you talking about me? You respayed me with cologne for the re-interview so Marty would hire me back? I told Marty about that when it happened, like how stupid it was. I was like, yeah, apparently you fired me, and whatever will I do? And he's like, well, I don't know. I mean, got to keep the business going, man. I don't know what to tell you. Better figure it out. Like this guy needs any more of these people's shit and calling and aggravating them. But they're lying, because they didn't call recently. Because I asked him about that, if they had called him, and he's like, no, nobody's called me recently, but Roofer had called him a whole bunch, trying to mess with him. But yeah, folks, don't listen to these people, man. They say the dumbest, stupidest things that they can get, whatever their little pea brain can come up with. Let's just enjoy a good laugh. Every time they come up with some new shit, it's right there in PRT News, and I'm just going to repost it here, and we'll talk about it, and we'll laugh. We'll just have a good laugh. Being unemployed sucks. Really does, man. But if I was unemployed, I would have been able to come on the show yesterday. I wouldn't have had to go run the patrol and do what I got to do. Ain't no shame in my game. Nobody lying over here. There's lying, fat bastard. The things they say, the venom that they say with, the evil. Oh my gosh. I think they're Rakshasa. The way they describe them being like these creatures that are like they're so evil, so maniacal, so possessed. It's like they're talking about how they got rabies. We're rabid, these creatures. That's interesting. If anybody has anything to add to it, say what you got to say, man. I got about 10 minutes and maybe 15. I got to jump off here, but yeah. We talked about Trinavarta on Monday. I'm sorry, folks, we were supposed to be on last night. We weren't, obviously, because I had a lot of work to do, and I had a lot of stuff going on. We have an insurance thing going on, audit, whatever, and I had to deal with it. Well, it is what it is. You got to work. I want to say something, though. I do encourage people to build lasting relationships and friendships, and don't hold grudges, folks. I'm going to say this. If you're ever in business at all, you will die broke if you hold grudges. because you may not get along with somebody. You may not like certain people. One of my biggest clients, in fact, it was my biggest client. I got into it with not the vice president. It was the person right below them. They're gone now. I'm still there. But at one time, they held a lot of power over us, and I had to just deal with it. And I did, and I endured. And we did very well. We made money. Because here at PRT, man, it's not just about stories and about, these encounters and everything. We're a family, and I care about my listeners. I care about people. But by the same token, people piss me off. I talk to people all the time. One of my friends, he's a fighter, used to be, big MMA guy. And he's just like, dude, I can't stand people. I know you beat the hell out of them all the time. He's like, yeah, but beyond that, I just can't stand people. And I said, that's a problem. I was like, because, I am a people person. People piss me off and I don't like people. I go through these little things where I want to be left alone, but I can't. I can't just throw my hands up and go, I don't want to deal with people. I'm done. I have workers. I have clients. I have deadlines I got to meet. I got things I got to do. I got to come up with somebody that can work at a pool for 3 days in July and coming up. And I don't know who I'm going to get for that. I got to do it. And all this is going on still. And I have to go and get checked for, cancer. You heard that right. I have to go get checked. The doctor says that I have some symptoms, but it doesn't mean that I have it. I just got to get checked. So please pray for me. Because oftentimes when somebody's near the truth, this stuff happens. Now, these maniacs are going to claim, oh, see, God's going after him. He's striking him down. No, he's not. If anything at all, it's this evil that they've been pushing on us, trying to push on us and push on us and push on us. And I got to push back. I can't go dying. I have things I have to do. I've been very transparent and very honest up here, and I tell you what I know and what I know to be correct. I can't help what other people do. When they lie and they say things, I cannot control that. I can't control what comes out of these maniacs' mouths. All we can do is just look at them and laugh because it is, pretty honest, it's pretty funny. I wish they were a little more humorous, though. That's the only thing. They're not funny. The only thing, they're unintentionally funny. Like, I've seen people make fun of stuff and they're hilarious with it. These people don't do that. They're just very mean and spiteful, but the stuff that they make up is comedy gold, and they're unintentionally funny. Now, if they were making skits and making fun of me and it was funny, I'd actually show you and we'd be laughing at me. But they don't do that. And they think that I'm some egotistical maniac, that they're trying to convince everybody of that. If you make fun, my boys here make fun of me all the time. They always make fun of me. Everybody does. My friends do. Everybody makes it. Look at your big Campbell Soup is good food head. Like, I call my one friend, I call him Baby Ostrich Head Face, and he calls me names. And that's what we do. We make fun and do all kind of silly, stupid things. But if you're going to do that, it has to be tasteful and it has to be funny. These people aren't funny. They're, like I said, unintentionally funny, and Nelly just clowns the shit out of them. And they hate it. They hate her. They hate Maddie. They hate me. They hate Anthony. Recently, they attacked Scorpion. Get this. Scorpion's wife hates him. Did y'all know that? Your wife hates you, Scorpion. He's never been married. Now, he's had several girlfriends as I've known him, and maybe they hate him. I don't know. But and there he is right there. Yeah, they hate him because he's been, taking them behind the woodshed and putting a whooping on them, destroying their narrative. So they had to, but there he is. But they said that his wife hates him. Did you know your wife hates you, Scorp? This is the thing, folks. You can't let it get to you, because these people are always going to be these people. They're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to say what they're going to say. Like this new, gotcha. You don't got shit, because I don't care what you say when it comes to talking about me and my business and whatever. I don't care. You're just mad because you're probably unemployed, because you're lazy. Now, I can't speak for all of them, but I know a lot of them are. They're very lazy. All of their energy that they have is devoted toward taking me down. Now, let me explain something to you. I slept about 4, I don't know, but maybe almost 5 hours today. I woke up. I set up my doctor's appointment. I talked to the doctor. I talked to this insurance company that I had to get them to do this and do that. And then I had to get on the phone and talk about my insurance for the vehicles for the business. I had to freaking talk to a witness and get a story, right? An encounter. I had to get it all put, squared away. And then I had to talk to Clyde Lewis's guy so that I could prepare to do the show tonight. I got on the phone with Ann Celine and Ken Gerhard, very good friends of mine. And then I went and ate dinner with my business partner who supposedly fired me. And I don't know how he's going to do that. Right? I don't want your money. I don't want your help. Get out of here. Go away. You're fired. Okay. Do you see me sweating and being like, oh no, dude, because it's not real. And then, the hotel that I supposedly am not allowed to work at because I'm an old, fat, stinky man who doesn't wear the uniform and they thought I was homeless. All the other stuff that they talk. Had to talk to them. Something happened last night. Wasn't anything big, but this is my life. I do all of this. And then I had to get on this show tonight and do this. Here I am. And then when I'm done, I got to do Clyde Lewis's show. And then I got to go to work. And my partner tonight, he told me right there, my wife was sitting right there. And so was Anthony. We were all eating dinner. And he says, you don't have to work every night. I said, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I got nothing to prove. But you know what? I'm not a lazy person. I can't just sit at home because I can go and do my job and I can still talk to people and get their encounters and do whatever I got to do. I don't need to sit and rest because when I'm gone, I want this to be a testament to my life, my work, my life's work. I want you guys to have something to do. There's enough episodes here to go back and for hours and hours and days and to listen to these people's encounters and their stories and to do whatever. I gave this show that's coming out like 40, 50 names of people. Now, how many they choose to use of ours is up to them. They can do what they want. I come up here and I lay it out there. I'm honest. I do what I got to do. I say what I got to say. If I'm not honest, then somehow I fooled Chat GPT and I fooled, what's the other one? Gemini. I fooled them all. Those people that say all this, I guess I'm Stephen King. Why? Then I'm in the wrong business. I need to be doing something else because this isn't a business to me. This is my life. I'm in business doing other things. So we had a construction company and I sold it. Well, I'm in the process of selling it. I have land. I'm selling that. Am I in a financial bind? Not necessarily, but I need money. I got things I got to take care of. Am I using it to start another business? No. What I'm doing is just trying to get rid of things that I don't have time for. I have X amount of time, and that's it. And God forbid something happens and they tell me, hey, you know what? You got something you got to deal with. And I got to deal with it. I'm going to fight it. And I'm going to come and tell you, hey, this is what's going on. All you can do is pray for me. And the time that I have here on earth, I'm going to do what I got to do. And that's why I tell you, enjoy the time you have while you're here and enjoy the people you're with while you're here. Life is too short to be around mean, angry people, eat bad tasting food, or listen to crappy music. Right? God forbid something happens. You know what I'm going to say? I'll say this until the day I die. I lived. I crammed a lot of living in 50 years of my life. I'll be 50 on July 14th. I've crammed a lot of living. I've lived enough for 10 men. I was talking to my cousin the other day. He's a bull rider. Used to be a bull rider. And he says, you know one thing? He goes, we're old, but we lived. I said, you're right. He lived a very colorful life, and so have I. He's nearly died. I've nearly died. A bull gored him and pulled his ephemeral artery out, and he lived by the grace of God. It didn't sever it. He nearly drowned in his own blood. I fell from a 3-story house. I stepped wrong, and I fell, and I landed like a U over a sawhorse. The people that I was with, they thought, man, this guy is doomed. He's broken his back. Guess what? I had a cracked vertebrae, and I have two that are fused together. I still lift weights, and I'll go tonight, and I'll do squats. Right, Anthony? You'll be there.
Hell yeah.
I'll do squats, and I'll kill my legs like I always do. And then tomorrow, I'll get up, and I'll do all these things I got to do, and then I'll go and I'll lift weights on my upper body. I do a massive amount of exercises when I do my body and my legs. I kill it. I do everything I can.
Never too tired to lift.
I was watching a show recently on Netflix about Vince McMahon, love him or hate him. But one of the things he says, dude, people have sued me and I still did business with him. I brought him in and I just, who cares?
Yeah.
He's like, you can't, what did I always say?
You can't hold grudges.
You can't hold grudges. There are people who despised me, who tried to destroy me. But when we took over and we took the company and said, okay, they're like, well, I guess you're going to get rid of me. I was like, no, I need you. Take all that energy and anger and your vigor towards destroying us and focus it on the other people. If you were a warlord and you were conquering territory, what good would it do if you poisoned all the wells? Because then you're the inheritor of a kingdom that doesn't function and has been poisoned. Because as soon as the war is over, those people are now your people, and you have to take care of them and figure out how to take care of them. You get it? War is very costly, very destructive. And sometimes it brings things to a decisive conclusion, and then sometimes all it does is just drag on and on and on because you have people who won't stop. These people up there, they're never going to stop. They are driven by demonic forces. I am convinced of that 110%. And all they can do is spin out and make up stories and say things about me that ain't true, that just is not true. It's up to you to have enough discernment to realize whether or not somebody's being honest or not. They've polluted the landscape with their nonsense and their fraudulent behavior. At the end of the day, I gotta say, I've been at war with people a lot. I'll be honest. Because I don't take people's shit. When they go around attacking everybody, when they come to me, they're going to get attacked back. It's not going to happen. You're not going to gangster slap me like you did everybody else. Something I'm just okay with it. Their attacks go back to 2021. There was an account called Bad Chicken Man who came on here and said the N-word over and over again. And he did it a few times, and we have the screenshots.
Just spammed it in our chat.
Who do you think that was? Who's always talking about the chicken's cleghorn that came out in court? We know it was you. You would tag Bettina with a little bray or brie or whatever the hell it is. When she was interviewing Chris Garitano, they try to spin it and say that it was me. What the hell are you talking about? Who in their right damn mind has time to go and do such nonsense? I don't. I'm a businessman, and I'm a lover of the paranormal. I eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff. This is not a job for me. This is fun. I have a great time here. Every now and then it becomes a grind, but not much. I'd gladly trade places and get rid of all my other business ventures and just do this if I knew I could make a living at it. But right now, I can't. I cannot. I love you guys, and I love the time that we spend together. And if, God forbid, it comes time and they say, well, you got cancer is really bad, you're not going to, say your goodbyes or whatever, I'm still not going to give up. I'm going to fight it with all the forces that heaven allows me or affords me. But when it's time, it's time. And I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to cry and say, oh, well, I might cry because I'll miss you guys, but I'm not going to cry for myself. And don't you either, because I've lived. I've lived more than most people, most 10 men could cram into this life. There's no way that I could even have any. I don't have any regrets. I have a few, maybe a little bit. I could have spent more time with my dogs, my pets. I give them all the love and attention I can, but I just wish I could just give them more. I wish I could spend more time with my animals and my family, my friends, those people. I've given so much to my businesses. I've given so much. Christmas time comes, I do everything I can. You know what it's like, Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
We give until it hurts. We give our people bonuses that you can ask them. We take care of them. That's why they're still with us. Our longest tenured person has been with us for 18 years, since the beginning of this thing. And actually, they were with me in my other company before that. So 2020, almost 20 years. And if you look at Scorpion, he was with me, him and Dee, my brother. They worked for me going back to the club. or clubs. These people afforded me this to be able to talk about this because I want to tell you something. When you can create those kind of bonds, with people, and you can make yourself be connected with these people, and it's a give and take. It's not a one-way street. You're not a parasite on somebody. Okay. And by token, the same token, they're not with you either. It's a symbiotic relationship. You help them, they help you. To the point where they trust you with their life, with their family's lives. My business partner, I watched his kids grow up. His daughter is very well. She does very well. She doesn't need to help us, but she helps us with the books because she wants to help her dad. And me and her get along very well. I've noticed when she was a kid. His son, same thing. Been friends with him and his family and his wife for a long time. A very long time. I'm like a son to him, another child. He's like my dad. So it's a family thing. It's a family business. And you're going to try and talk about, he doesn't know. It doesn't matter. I'm the one that runs it. I'm the one that does everything. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who does what. My other partner has been almost 10 years. I've known him for 11. Been working with him almost 10. And I met him through one of our other partners that passed away, Bubba. God rest his soul. Great guy. Nothing bad to say about the guy. He argued with my other partner a lot. They had a lot of fights, and I always mediated. I was always mediating. Never fought with him. Did I ever fight with Bubba? No. Not one time did me and Bubba ever cross swords. Big black guy from Beaumont. Me and Bubba always got along. Sometimes he's mad at Marty. Sometimes Marty's mad at him, but I always mediated for them. I said, look, we all got to work together. And we did. And that's what we've always done. And that's what we'll always do. If you can do that, I encourage you to come together with people and build relationships. You will never have to worry about how you're going to pay the light bill or how you're going to keep the power on or anything. None of that. Because you can trust these people with your life and they can trust you. You get mad. You're going to fight. You're going to argue. You're going to get mad. But at the end of the day, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because your family. That's something that these people, the opposition, they don't understand it. They don't grasp it because they're disloyal. They as soon attack each other and eat each other as they would help. They're only going to help because it's, what do I get out of it? It's a transactionary thing to them. When one of us gets in trouble, you know what we do? We come together and we take care of them. One of our people got into a car wreck. We helped them out. We fed their family. We took care of them for 2 months so they could get themselves together, get on their feet. Whatever. We do this all the time because I know that person's going to pay us back. And even if they don't or they can't, they're family. That person had been with us for 11 years. And guess what? Now they've been with us 5 more years, 16 years with us. Does that sound like we're bad people? Maddie works for us. Maddie can tell you. She's met a lot of our people. And these people have been working with us for a long time. Nobody's running and trying to jump ship because we do business and it's good. You get paid, you do your job, nobody's got a problem. These people that are talking and saying all these ridiculous things, they don't understand that. They don't grasp that. Tuition says they don't understand love, let alone the many forms that love can take, like the brotherly love or selfless love, let alone romantic love. Yeah. They don't understand. My wife, she's going to go to bat for me. She's going to cut for me because we love each other. Never loved a woman like I love her ever in my life. 8 years. 8 years. May 20th, she came here to stay. And I told her we're going to be together forever. That was it. She went to the airport. I ran and I got her. I was working out. My friend was like, what are you doing here, bro? It's one of my gym bros. He said, man, take your ass over to the airport. Go get that woman, man. That's all you talk about. I said, you're right. And I was over there doing pull downs and I just let go. And I took off out the door and he's like, hey, yo, hey. He's like, your hat, bro. You left your took my hat. I was like, yeah. Go to the airport, and I called her and I said, "Hey, don't get on that plane." She's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "You're going to be with me." She's like, "What are we going to do?" I said, "I don't know. I don't know. Let's say our vows before God. Let's get married." And they've attacked that too. They've attacked my marriage. They've attacked Abe Cias's marriage. They've attacked Tex's marriage. You know, Tex. Who else? They've attacked so many people. They've attacked everybody's marriage, accusing everybody of infidelity and everything else you could possibly imagine. Constantly attacking people's marriages, attacking Jesse and Joe Doyle. It's horrible. But tomorrow night, the ladies are going to get together at 7 o'clock. Blondes and Booze, be there, or be square. That's a rectangle. Let's do a better one. And anyway, be there tomorrow night. They're going to be, Nellie's going to be right here in the studio with Madeline Crap. That's your new nickname, Maddie. They gave it to you. It's going to stick now, right? Yeah, like throwing crap on the wall and then see if it sticks, right? So here it is. My life is an open book. Most people are not willing to let it be that way, but I am. I am totally transparent with you guys. You want to know something about me, especially if you're a Patreon member, because I've said it before on the Patreon show. I'm going to tell you. I don't shy away. You're not going to pin me down and go, "Oh, let's get the skeletons out of his closet," and whatever, because I don't have skeletons. They can call me Iron Bull, Iron Bear, Iron whatever. I don't give a shit what you call me. I'm not gay. And if I was gay, I'd be very open and be like, I'm just gay. Take that and make it into a clip. I don't really care. Go ahead and do what you do best, chicken man. But the thing is, I'm not. My wife, they make fun of her. They call her Nelson, saying that she's a tranny. Yeah. No, she's all woman. Believe me. You make fun of us and you say the most vile, horrible, dishonorable things you can possibly come up with. And all we do is laugh. Because now you've become a joke. Now you've taken it to another level. You are even another level joke. You're attacking my businesses, calling the gyms and asking if I'm coaching there. I haven't coached in years. Right? Saying that people told you, "Oh, he just comes in there and takes pictures." What in the F are you talking about? There's like 3 or 4 people I go to the gym with and work out with on a regular basis. Everybody at those gyms sees me work out, and I've had some people come to me and tell me flat out, like, "Dude, you are killing it." I mean, I go from place to station, and I hit it. I don't waste my time. If I feel like I need to take a breather, I'll talk to somebody. Once I'm done, I'll talk all night. I don't care. But when I'm working out, it's serious business, bro. That's what that is for me. And you're going to call people and they're going to tell you, "Oh, yeah, he just comes in there and takes pictures." What the F? I don't even hardly take pictures. It doesn't matter because even when I do, they say you're obese. Even when I take a picture showing you that I'm not, clearly I'm not, they still say things. They're going to say whatever they're going to say. They're going to do what they're going to do. That's it. Yes, Delilah, they're obsessed. Absolutely obsessed. The last thing I got to say to these people, and I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it very matter of fact, get a job. Get a job, because maybe if you were working, you would stop needing YouTube to be your grift. And you would stop being so angry at me and Jerry and Ella Williams and Abe and his cousin Jesse. And you'd stop being angry at the Blondes and Booze or BMR or Tex or Harley Owens, who you also attack, or Jesse and Joe Doyle from Help and Holler. The list goes on and on and on. You just keep on attacking people. Or Bettina, who you ran off. See, you started a war, not me. And with me, you've met an implacable enemy. You should have read Mao Zedong's little red book as the fat little shit. What he says is very true. Broken clocks being what they are. You make me into the implacable enemy. I did. You did. When you attack me, I turn on you. You will never, ever, ever find peace. As long as you attack me, I'm going to turn back and I'm going to fight you back. So you thought I was just a sheep and easy prey, but I'm not. I'm a wolf. And all my people that you were looking over the top with your little flyover thinking, "Oh, it's just a bunch of sheep." No, we're not. That's just the clothes we wear for society's purposes. We're all wolves here, baby. And PRT has some of the smartest people in the whole community. I didn't even get to the Raksasa thing, and they had already started saying it. You're comparing apples to oranges. Anyways, folks, I got to run. Here's the new song that Nelly made. I'm going to play it, and then I got to jump on with Clyde Lewis. So let's get it going here. This one is called The Sinner's Plea.
Rosary. Mater Maria, potens nemius.